Talofa lava, thank you. When I was invited to come and speak here today, I get really excited. I get really pumped up, especially around stuff around Pasifika and especially education. I've done a lot of what I do now is I'm lecturer at WelTec on the Bachelor of Youth Development, but also on the side of that I do a lot of mentoring, especially with Pasifika and education, but also mentoring young sports people, professional sports athletes, and it's whenever I get the chance to share what I do, and share why I do it, I get really excited and I get really pumped up. I think for me, and I think what we've talked about, a lot of what everyone's talked about is following your passion, and I truly believe that my God-given talent on earth is to excite people, excite families, and excite communities to greatness. Okay. So greatness for me it's not what you get. Okay, it's not a team. It's not an education. It's not a piece of paper that you walk across the stage with some letters beside your name. That's not greatness to me. Greatness to me is a mindset. Okay, it's a process. And why I'm pushing this in terms of when I work with students, or when I work with players, or when I work with anyone, is because I've seen what greatness can look like, and we all have it. And we all talked about it. It's not just being academically good. Okay, it's not just being about being great on the sports field. Greatness is something that you have to live. It's something that you actually have to breathe and become. It's not something that you get. Okay, it's something that you just choose to be. There's one thing I tell. I'm a pretty straight up tutor, lecturer, and one thing I tell, especially sports people and students, is that at the end of the day, there's going to be two things that we have at the end. When the dust settles, there's going to be two things. You're either going to have a story, okay? You're either going to have a story or results. That's it. Okay? Nothing more, nothing less. You either have a story for why it didn't happen, or you have results. My biggest thing is that I hear the story, the broken, like what Bruce and Annalise talked about, the broken story. I hear that story constantly, okay? As a tutor, even as a Pasifika tutor, the work that I have to do into my Pasifika students is sometimes I don't even have enough time, okay? The fact that what I've seen is that our students don't think they're great. Not just in an academic sense, but they don't feel like they're great. And a lot of that, what Bruce talks about, comes from just being broken. Not physically, but mentally broken. It's not the big stuff. So when I say, what is greatness? People think, oh, that's okay, it's all the big stuff. You play sport, you done rugby, you've done academics. No, it's not about that for me. So for me, when I work with players and I work with students, it's the little stuff. It's the little stuff that you have to do. That's what I determine as greatness. My biggest test for greatness is how you do the dishes at home. Do you do it with everything? You have to do it. You've decided that you have to do the dishes. How well do you do the dishes? Do you commit to doing the dishes that well? Do you come to class? For me, that's in itself a great thing to do, right? It's not just whether you succeed on a piece of paper. So it's the little stuff that I really emphasize. Because everywhere you go, you take you with you. Okay, and so I have to deal with a lot of athletes, and what they don't understand is that you go where everywhere you go, you take with you. And what this means is that even there's a situation today in the newspapers about a young rugby player sent home from South Africa because he did something outside of what he should be doing. Okay? So, and when you think about it, if you're not great, don't tell me that you're an A student, but then you cheat on your girlfriend. That's not greatness. Don't tell me that you're being successful at rugby, but you're not there for your children. That's not greatness. Greatness is, like I said, it's an embodiment. It's something that you are. It's not something that you pick and choose. And one thing about these rugby players, some of my friends, that aren't understanding is that like that same space of greatness, it's like leadership. It's a space that whether you like it or not, you're in it. For you guys as educators, whether you like it or not, you're in it. And so when you deal with people's lives, right, when you have an influence on someone's lives, you're in a leadership space. Okay, you're in it. Isn't that why we're here? So one of the two things I read on the poster was that we want to be better, they want us to leave here as better tuakana leaders. We want to be, also they talked about, they want us to go back knowing, having a little bit more knowing so we can give it our best. And what I really was saying in terms of greatness is, I feel that if I'm demanding greatness from my students, yet I don't demand it from myself. If I'm expecting excellence from my students, if I'm expecting them to put the hours in, like what Annalise talked about after class, if I'm expecting them to give that level of commitment, but I'm not willing to give it myself, I don't think that's great leadership, and I don't think that's greatness on my part. I think that what happens is the reason why I do what I do is because, for one, secondary school wasn't something that naturally gravitated to me. School wasn't something that I naturally got. Rugby wasn't something that I naturally got. So I have the privileged perspective of understanding what it's not like to have those things. Okay, and you can't, when you talk to someone that isn't getting it, sometimes when you've got it already, it's hard to come from that space. But when you come from a space where you haven't got it, okay, when you've seen the dark side of the coin, you can really speak into it. And that's why I do what I do. That's why I speak. Every time I get a chance to speak about anything, this is my purpose. And from what I'm seeing is raising your standards. I mean, how many of you have ever, usually people raise their standards on December 31st at 11:59. And for some reason it doesn't seem to last. Because what I realise is that the standards that we hold and we want our students to have, or we have in ourselves, aren't maintained by just having a vision. I'm not saying it's the vision that's letting you down. It's not. Think big. Okay, think great. Think grandiose. But it's not the vision that's letting you down. It's the rituals that you keep. And that's why I reiterated the little stuff. It's the little stuff that you do daily. I'm working with this. Worked with Victor Vito last year in terms of he wanted to be in the World Cup. He wanted to be in front of Liam Messer. How do I do that? What do I have to do as a mentor, as a mental skills, as a friend, or whatever I am in that role? There's a different message that I give a young player who's wanting to come up. But the same message that I give young players, especially young rugby players, is the same message I give young students. Wherever you'll be, you will end up. Okay, so if you think about life as a timeline, whatever the goal is, okay, whether it's sport, whether it's rugby, music, whatever it is, whatever your passion is, follow. But whatever that is, don't worry about it. Don't focus on that. Because you're going to arrive somewhere, okay? And I can't tell a young person that, yes, you're going to be in the All Blacks, or yes, you're going to be an A student, or yes, you're going to be a master student. I can't promise that, therefore I don't say it. What I do say is that you will end up here, okay? You're here now, okay? If every day, right, you plant the right seeds, if every day you do the little stuff, right? If you commit to greatness, not just in rugby, but in everything, you commit to being a great rugby player, a great student, the best student that you can be, the best father you can be, the best husband you can be. I guarantee that you'll end up somewhere, okay? You may fall short. You may not be an All Black, but I guarantee it. Are you a better rugby player here than you are there? Are you a better student here than you are there? Of course. What this end results, it's got nothing to do with us. We just put the seeds, we plant the seeds. The only problem is sometimes, especially as educators, we think that one day a seed will just flourish. It doesn't work like that. We'll probably work with people when it's taken years and years and years of just nurturing that seed until you actually finally got some momentum with it. And it's because of that principle, is that none of that effort that you did before that was lost. It was there, it was always there. Okay, it just took that long. Okay, so don't worry about the results in terms of what you want. That'll take care of itself. Have big dreams, but make sure you put the structures in, the rituals, so that you can maintain those standards, or a standard will just always, again, get terminated within a few weeks of you setting. It's the rituals. I've also put the little Italian philosopher in there, because after tutoring and working with Pasifika students, there was always this, when I was studying education, there's always this fact that we need more Pasifika tutors. Well, here I am, and therefore, why am I getting the exact same results that I said that I was going to get? Okay, because I understand my students, therefore I should naturally gravitate them. What I realized was that it wasn't true. Is that the fact is, what I'm dealing with isn't just something that I can change, right? And what I think Bruce was talking about was this idea of oppression exists. And we just have to realize that. And one thing that I pulled out of Gramsci was the idea that as an oppressor, you never have, the one thing that you don't want to do is rule with a loaded gun. So I can put a gun into everyone's head in this room to get you to do what I want. Eventually though, a revolt happens, right? You start to plan coup, and eventually you want to take me out of the lead. But if I can oppress you in a way that you culturally believe that you should be below me, I never have to raise a finger. Okay, and so this is what I see every day when I work with Pasifika students. My students are youth workers. Most of them get into youth work because they had rough upbringings. They don't have academic backgrounds. And I'm doing literacy, it's a degree, and I'm doing literacy and numeracy. That's half the battle, right? But they constantly don't believe in themselves because not education didn't fail them, schools failed them, schooling failed them. And it's been 20 years since the AIM High Report in 1996, where Pasifika has been labelled as underachievers. We're still underachieving. So for me, it's like I'm starting to get annoyed with the systemic issue, but therefore I can't. What I'm realising is that I've always claimed that the education system is broken. Well, it ain't. The education system isn't broken, it's working, okay? And it's working in a way to maintain status quo in terms of life. That if you're a Pasifika or Māori going into education, you're more than likely not to succeed, right? You're more than likely to give up. And I tell my students this, that the system is meant to fail you. It's working, it's not. It's because we just talked about this. Why don't we learn it? Why don't we learn our literacies? Why don't we learn our information? Because it's not valued. Just let's be honest, it's not valued, right? In many schools. Some schools, their transformation, I've seen some great projects, but if you look at systemically, majority of schools don't value what you bring. Only at poly night, or if we have a hui and we invite the guests, then let's bring your stuff in. Why is French, German, Japanese the main languages at school? I wanted to learn Samoan at school, but no, we couldn't get. There's not enough numbers, they said. And it's through those little things of valuing everything other than yours, that makes you feel like you're not getting it. Makes you feel like you're not enough, and that's how they do it. And so, in saying that, if you're meant to fail, then the ultimate defiance is success. Right? If you're meant to go into education and come out the other end, not wanting to go further or not wanting to better yourself, then the ultimate defiance then is the opposite, is to get success. Okay? What I like about this room is it's all about that. Everyone wants success, everyone wants to be better, everyone wants that kind of that greatness that I talked about. And so when I think about my story, this was I failed every year at secondary school. I usually have a picture there with my academic, my report with an E on it, and that's not, I'm from an era before it was excellence. So that was a real E. That was the lower, and so this is my first year at university, I get a D. Okay, so, massive, something that I don't get. I was one of those students that needed one of you guys to help me out, because what the tutor told me is I didn't know how to write, and I said, yes I do, because there's words on a page. And he said, no, you don't know how to write academically. What does that mean? And so, I was not the smartest guy at uni, and I probably was never going to be, and still never will be. But I made a promise to myself that I would always be the hardest working. Only to myself. I don't know actually where I was. But if I made that commitment, right, not to worry about the goal, not to worry about the piece of paper that's still not on the wall for me, that's in the somewhere down in the bottom of my closet. If I worry about just putting the little things in, right? We had a little workshop where we talked about just listening to the tutor, not writing notes. That's what I did, because I had to, because I would record my lectures, simply because I didn't get what they were saying, and once wasn't enough. And so I had to just listen. I couldn't write, I couldn't do anything else. So I was really like, yeah, that's true, because once I listened to it 3 or 4 times, I eventually was able to give those lectures in my own head. Started getting some success, graduated in 2009 with honours, also got the honours degree, and did my masters. And what I really wanted to do was continue this work around greatness. But what I wanted to find was young students like myself who failed secondary school, but then went on to choose something different. How does that happen? Okay, because I realize that my story is not unique, but that there's Pasifika students out there who have failed in terms of deemed failure in terms of academic, okay, but have found success. And what I found is that it's resilient. They're very resilient, but it was a choice, right? And the one thing that I can give you in terms of, if you really want your young people, or the people that you're working with, to have success, or to have whatever they want, to get what they want, is to get results before they happen up here. Get them to see it. One of the things that we all talked about was, I'm not going to go through my thesis, we don't have time, but we all sat down and we all talked about our experiences with education. And we all had this one moment in our life where enough was enough. I mean, some of you probably had that moment where enough was enough. I didn't want to live like that anymore. Whatever it was. Some had babies, some had guns pointed on them. Some lost dads. Something triggered them to change their life. And what I realized in terms of education was as an educator, I can't say, can you lose your dad, please? So that you can somehow find your way in education. That's impossible. But it wasn't the event itself. We don't have to replicate those negative experiences to create resilience. What we all did after that experience was self-reflect. For the first time, we pulled ourselves out. We reflected on our life for the first time. And when you create that space of reflection, you're also creating that space of projection. Okay, because when you reflect that this is no longer where I want to be, you're also projecting of, well, maybe I could be here. And in that little tiny space of reflection, it's enough to change your self-concept about what you can possibly do. And so we all did that. They all started to see it. They all jumped on a course, whether it be a certificate or whatever, and they found a little bit of success, got a little bit of momentum, just because they changed up here a belief about themselves. And the reason why is because we can all learn. We know that. You've seen it. We've done it. There's people up here that are living it. Right? We can all learn. What breaks us is what Pale talked about is our imagination, what we believe about ourselves. And we are full, just my last slide, is to believe that education is about intelligence. And education isn't just in a formal setting, right? We talked about education being on my life. Right? Education is when you do the dishes, you do it the best you can. It's the little stuff. It's not just being the best husband or being the best church member. But when you commit to greatness, it's not something that you can step in and out of. It's something that you just have to live, embody it. And what I love about coming here is usually the message that we all give is probably not for the people that aren't here. It's probably for the educators that aren't, the educators that don't come to this conference. It's probably the ones that need to hear the message the most. And that's always the unfortunate thing, is we're probably preaching to the choir a little bit. But yeah, I just want to thank you. I'm always humbled and grateful to share my story.